Alright, what is up everybody? It's Lids, and we are back for another round of Pyre, and we just successfully completed a rite against the Tempers, in which we had half of our team suffering from banishment sickness, so it wasn't looking good, but yet somehow we seemed to find a way to come out with a rather convincing victory, so that was a strong sign, I guess, that maybe we're getting a little better at using some of the other characters that we weren't as fond of, at least initially. But anyways, now we are set to make our way toward what I anticipate will likely be the final liberation rite. So, pressure's on there. We will be up against the Fate, if I remember correctly, and I hope, at least, that all of our characters now are back from banishment sickness, so we'll have the full team to select from. But anyways, we have some people to catch up with. Is Bertrude? You are unaccustomed to seeing Bertrude smiling, and yet there she is, doing just that. You soon see why. You've observed before how her manner seems to soften to the degree that it can whenever Wolfred is around. Oh, they like each other. If only I could have seen their faces then. What was your secret, dare I ask, dear Bertrude? It appears that they are reminiscing about old times in the Commonwealth. They do go back to their days in the Commonwealth. Flame-resistant inks, Sandal, but it was the inks themselves which kept those volumes from being burnt to ash. So she printed a bunch of copies of the Book of Rites, which Sandalwood then distributed. And that's how they both got cast into exile. Downside, how they got here. Flame-resistant inks. Of course. The good officers who came to visit. They were so intent on burning all the evidence that they did not stop to think the evidence was fireproof. Alas, that they later found a way to burn thy stamping press regardless. Thy written words, they moved us many times, and many others who we knew in the southern fog. No matter, dear Bertrude. What's done is done. At least we made it difficult for them. Is that not so? While introducing some of our fellow citizens to new ideas. Perhaps. My words would not have reached near half as many were it not for you. Not to mention how I managed to elude them for another decade or so. I am ever thankful for your sacrifice. Thy thanks shall not be necessary, Sandalwood. Well, you shall have to take them from me anyhow. Thank you, Bertrude, for helping to fulfill a modest author's dreams. Author? Hold on. He said author. My understanding was that they were distributing the Book of Rites. Maybe that's not true. I'm not sure they've ever specifically said that that was the case. Maybe that's just my assumption here. So there's a chance that this was just whatever stuff Wolfred happened to be writing that was related to the Book of Rites and life in the well, maybe not life in the downside because he wasn't exiled yet. But what I'm getting at here is Wolfred saying, or at least hinting, that he may in fact have been one of the scribes, which we may have theorized at one point. I think the sap scribe is known as Lou Sclorian, and we haven't really seen anything to directly link those two together, other than just general suspicion that they both have similar goals, but Timing-wise, the scribes, I think, were 837 years or something along those lines before Wolfred, or 827 maybe. Because I think Wolfred's been here for 10 years in the downside, so maybe that's still a stretch, and maybe I'm reading into this too much. What a good stamping press without good inks. No good at all. They exchange a laugh at this, but then, even still, and through this new ordeal, thou hast no love for us. Is that not so? Gertrude. They actually mean... Nay, we understand full well. Thou needst not further explain thyself. Oh, Gertrude seems to have feelings for Wolfred. Wolfred isn't reciprocating those feelings. That's unfortunate. There are different kinds of love, Gertrude. On that account, thou hast nothing to teach us, Sandal. They each remain silent for a time. Yeah, that's a really awkward conversation. Listening in on in that case? Our hearts, they cannot be controlled, Gertrude. Blasted things they are. They act well on their own. Puts away his pipe. I am blessed to have been in your life, have you in my life, back in the Commonwealth, and here as well. I mean that, although I know that is not enough. At first, Gertrude does not seem to acknowledge this in any way. Then, nay, Sandal, it is enough. It's enough. She departs without awaiting a response, brushing past you as she goes. Again, super awkward. Wolfred soon turns away as well, politely bidding you a good evening. The two old friends have evidently managed their way past certain tensions in their long-standing relationship. They rather seem to draw a certain strength from one another. Okay. So I guess there's a little more to that relationship, other than just the professional ties they had to each other, with helping each other out with creating and distributing the propaganda, or potentially the Book of Rights themselves. The Tempers, in the words of Aoul the Swallow, Muir, the Honored One, formed the Tempers upon his own ideals. Ingrained in this triumvirate are basic truths about the dual roles of strength and gentleness. The Horned One, he has had a dualistic nature for as long as he and I consider each a friend. The stories I am told about Muir's youth describe no one I know. All of us are capable of it. I once was an imp that could not write. Muir once was a man that could not think. The Tempers once were ordinary folk. Now they rise to greatness, always striving, never overreaching. They are not like Muir himself. Rather, they are what Muir wished he could be. And that is it on that front. Ooh, take another one of those. I feel like we've had more opportunity to take these berries. I've, on occasion, remembered to do so, but it might be that after each rite you can get some. And they do sell for something like 6 coins, which is almost meaningless, but you do it every time, and that might add up. But anyways, we have bigger things to take care of. Namely, making our way. Ball of Solium. For what I suspect is likely last time. Maybe not, but we've been hearing a whole lot about the cycle of the rites slowing down, and what the heck is that? That's an imp. Okay. Haven't seen that before. But yeah, there's a chance that maybe there's one more go round, but it seems like everything we've been hearing of late has been even more final. Oh, and there's another one. And, you know, I know we were talking about how, technically speaking, can we still open the planet right now? We can. Something appears different now about the sacred mountain west of here. The lands near the Emperor's Ascent and Emperor's Fall appear ashen. On the other hand, the once precarious regions below, which you know as Temple High Road and Temple Sister, seem swept clean by the elements. Wolfred observes all this alongside you. It is as though the entire downside now is well aware that soon the cycle of the rites shall cease to turn. The weather lately has been very much unusual, to say the least. Okay, this is kind of what I was alluding to before. Everything is pointing toward we are reaching the end. In this case, however, it appears to have afforded us a bit of a shortcut. We should be able to make landing closer to Scribescape now. But we've been able to benefit from 2 rounds of getting powered up before going into the liberation rites in the past. Does that mean we only get 1 now? No! Just as well, I think all of us are feeling rather more on edge these days. A swifter journey to the summit means that we can all conserve our strength for the coming trial. Okay, what I was starting to say was that I know theoretically we were talking about going up against the Fate in this, but I suspect we may see a last-minute visit from Orlek. We may do another one of those, oh, hi, hello, by the way, I'm taking the place of who you thought your adversary was going to be, and you're facing me instead. So, I think we need to brace ourselves for that possibility. Okay, but we have 2 options here. First of 2 paths leading to the mountain summit is the Temple High Road. Since Wolfred shall gain favor from the scribes if you land here. I mean, there was a time when we were talking about trying to use Wolfred more frequently to build up his reputation such that he could be enlightened enough to be set free, but I still think he is not going to be eligible to do so because we have opted not to use him on a few occasions. So although I suspect he would be amazing for the probability of our plan succeeding if we were to be able to get him free, I just don't think there's any way in which that's possible. Whereas, on the other hand, I mean, Sir Gilman is the one that we tried to liberate last time and failed to do so with. So, I mean, I would think between the 2 of them, Gilman, I believe, is probably still eligible. It's technically still a chance that someone has surpassed him and taken his place as probably the last person who will be eligible. I think Ruki is fully enlightened, so it will definitely be him as an option. I think Tay, and then the last one will be either Sir Gilman or maybe Tizo. But I think between these 2, I would definitely prefer Sir Gilman. So there's at least that possibility that he might be the person that we try to set free, and even if he isn't, there's still a pretty solid chance that we'd end up choosing to use him, because he is, of course, speedy and pretty good at scoring. You arrive once more among the solemn beauty of Melodium. It appears that Dalbert and the Fate have already arrived along the other route. Yeah, I don't know, though. I'm not convinced we're going to be going up against him. Alright. Yonder Crystal seeks Wolfred. I was wondering when that might happen, because Wolfred and Bertrude as well have not yet completed their scribe trials, have not even been eligible, not allowed to start them yet. So, let's give that a shot before we forget. And maybe, maybe Wolfred's scribe trial gives him some otherworldly talisman that gives him plus 20 quickness, in which case I would consider using him in this upcoming Liberation Rite, even if he's not eligible to be set free. But, I mean, obviously that is about a 0% chance of that being the case, or about as close to 0 without being 0. So, anyways, let's talk to Sandra. You have returned, have you? What is it you require? You invoked Sandra from Beyond a Crystal. It's been a while since we've talked to her. Let's catch up a little bit. Ask what's on her mind. You know, my lovely reader, I must admit that I did not expect your little followers to be quite so receptive to instruction as thus far they have proved. I know not whether they owe it all to you, or have somewhat more to them than I was first inclined to think. In any case, however, I am pleased that they are not entirely disgraceful. I like to keep my expectations well in check, seeing as I have been thus expelled until the end of time. So it is pleasant when those expectations are exceeded, every now and then. Although I cannot quite recall when last that was. But the best part of all this are these brief times in which you visit me in my domain. I know you cannot for long. This damned crystal in which I am enthralled shall see to that. Though as you have perhaps surmised, whenever it decides that one of your little friends is worthwhile enough, why, I can offer them a trial, and likewise, I can offer you a chat. Sometimes I think, as you achieve those trials of mine, perhaps it does something, trim the length of my eternal banishment. Eternity being what it is, however, perhaps not. Still, if the trophies of those blasted scribes are worth something to you, then all you need is but to brave my trials, and they can be yours. And perhaps there's good in it for me as well. Then something changes in her, and she changes the subject. I've likely said too much. I am not to influence you in your use of the Beyond a Crystal. It is not there to be tampered with by anyone, including me. Forget what I said. Alright, time for a scribe trial. You need not ask me twice. Simply verify which one of yours shall be the subject of my scrutiny. So here's the thing. Have Volfred, and it seems strange to me. I know we had a little bit of a conversation at one point in which we saw Bertrude trying to tamper with the Beyond a Crystal, and Sandra was saying, no, you're not ready yet. So maybe that's partially the reason why we're seeing that Bertrude is not eligible, even at this very late stage in the game. But it does seem weird to me that Volfred, who started participating in the rites well after Bertrude, is now getting his trial available to him before Bertrude. So, I don't know. I don't know if Bertrude just may not have a trial at all. But I want to be mindful of what talisman we give to Volfred, because, as we've seen in the past, he's not easy. Not easy to work with. So, previously we had, if banished while possessing the orb, the bearer has a 100% chance to pass it, but we won't have any teammates in this trial, so that would be pretty useless. However, we could get back 50% of the damage dealt when he scores, then that could be useful. Otherwise, a well-rounded stat boost could also be of interest. But I think, let's try this one. Let's give it a shot. You ask Sandra to administer one of her special trials for Volfred. That fancy-talking sap, you mean? I shall be interested to see if he has learned something since we last sparred like this. Then, let us bring him forth. Soon, Volfred appears in heat of the summons. So it is my turn, then, is it? Then let us see what we can do, my boy. Okay. It's gonna be tough. Saps such as Volfred have powerful defensive abilities in the rites, but cannot cast their auras. So, we're starting with 100. We're starting with 100, they're starting with 70. That is, not usually the way these scribe trials have gone. Usually we start with a disadvantage, I think. Maybe that's in acknowledgement of just how difficult it can be to work with a sap, especially when you only have a sap and no other teammates to help you score. Anyways, the apparition Sandra appears and unfastens her mask. Maybe we're just going 1v1. Great, make it a little bit easier on us. Listen well, sap. You answer to me here. As you will, O Sandra, unseeing. Proper as ever, then. Though, I wonder if you have the wherewithal that you project. Show me, then, what you can do without the benefit of those whom you lead. And let us see if you and your lovely reader have reached a thorough understanding as of yet. Oh, nope. Nope, we are not that lucky. I was really hoping you were going to walk right into that. Like that. Oh, you have a sap too? So this is awkward. Well, that's not what I meant to do. No! Trying to sprint in for the score there, but this is going to be tough. Thank you. I would like this, please. Oh, we made it. That's one. Need two more. You gonna drop one as well? You are. Just like walk into me like that. That would be great. Oh, what? I didn't have time to actually place that. Uh-oh. Place this. Place this. Nope, wasn't fast enough. Oh, but I zoomed over. Got it. Well, you were about to score on me. Wilfred takes a long time to respawn, and yes. Okay. I mean, still a little bit of time. A little bit of time here, but this is going to be still very tricky. Uh-oh. So what next? Oh, I forgot. I can shield myself from casts. If I just chill here and, like, you wanna maybe... I mean, that. You wanna just walk into that. That would be fantastic. And if you wanna... Whoa! Probably should have seen that coming. Don't mind me. There we go. Oh, we can get some life back as well. Okay, that is helpful for sure. Let's see what we can do here. That was maybe not exactly where I wanted to put that. Oops, that was... I tried to anticipate they were going to try to cast on us, but that didn't really work. Don't you dare. Bit of a stalemate here. Not gonna lie. Bit of a stalemate here. Okay, that's something. There we go. I think we did it. Somehow. It wasn't pretty, but it was actually kind of a convincing win. I am grateful for the privilege of your time, good Sandra. I'm curious what you'll give us. Flattery shall never get you anywhere with me, Sap. Nonetheless, your performance was sufficient, and you passed my test. Thus, congratulations are in order to you and to your lovely reader. A farewell. Fellow exiles may wish to speak with you inside the Black Wagon from time to time. You may learn much more about them. It's something we've definitely been doing. I had not seen that Sandra in some time. She has not changed a bit. But it would seem she left something for us, did she? You received Lose Buff for completing Volfred's trial. Alright, let's see what it does. Volfred's Blink ability transports him farther than usual, so that's his sprint, which doesn't accelerate the rate at which he runs, it just basically is a teleport, but it transports him 50% further, which, you know, maybe that is pretty solid. Bear in mind that is a rank 10 talisman, so theoretically we could upgrade that a little bit further. And I don't know how high of a number that might get up to then if we got that all the way to a rank 20 talisman, maybe 75%. And at that point, you might be actually talking about half-decent maneuverability, dare I say. I don't know. It's a weird one. I would need to test it out, and I'm not terribly inclined to rely on Volfred, even with that talisman, in the short term for this upcoming right when the stakes are as high as they are. But anyways, let's seek the Crone Scribe's favor. Sir Gilman, pilgrimage, ultimately. With some time to spare after having landed, he joined Sir Gilman on a brief expedition to the monument of Molten Belief. Fourth of the 8 scribes of the Book of Rites, known as the Impassioned, or the Wild Witch, mistress of fire and dust, claimed she could shatter the world with the flick of her wrist. This knight now understands what he must do. His good company. They inspire him to greater deeds. He shall prove to them that he is worthy of their friendship. Surely have his honor back if they see fit. You return to the wagon once he has finished paying his respects. You have occasion once more to pursue your vocations. Oh, nice. And Sir Gilman gained +3 glory, which is the damage he does. Wow. That is very good. It's hard to get, and especially for a character that scores a lot like Sir Gilman, and a character that is quick and normally doesn't do a lot of damage. Sir Gilman, I think, by default has 15 glory, so that could prove very helpful. Alright, and now the question becomes, do we study in private, in which case he would be able to give everyone a small presence bonus, I believe is the only thing that's currently available to us. Do we mentor someone with the hope of either getting them to gain a rank, or something to bear in mind is, might we be able to manipulate the hierarchy a little bit and make it such that we make one person actually become one of our 3 most enlightened exiles and suddenly have the option to liberate someone that we might not have previously had the option to do that with. Or, of course, we can try to scrounge for valuables, and although I was talking about how I think we have a lot of talismans that we are pretty content with at this point, the thing that I think, especially with this potentially final right upcoming, that could be particularly important would be we could strongly consider purchasing some of those things that give us a temporary attribute bonus. You know, can we get +2 quickness for just this upcoming right? Maybe that's an important difference maker if we want to go all in for this one. Let's take a quick look before we make a decision there as to where the enlightenment stands. So like Ruki, for example, fully enlightened. We know for a fact he is going to be one of the ones that is eligible to be set free, and nothing's going to change that. However, we see Tay is very, very close, so she is presumably also going to be someone who's eligible. Question is, who after them? I think it's either going to be Tizo or Sir Gilman, but it might be close. So Tizo has 7,130. It would not reach rank 5 if we were to give him a private tutoring lesson, whereas Sir Gilman is higher. However, so this is what I mean. If we were to give Tizo a tutoring lesson, he would surpass Sir Gilman in terms of enlightenment, I believe. Yeah. So right now, as things currently stand, the 3 people who I believe are going to be eligible will be Ruki, Tay, and Sir Gilman. However, if we tutor Tizo, Tizo will be the 3rd person rather than Sir Gilman who will be eligible. So, if we feel as though we want to try to liberate Tizo, we may want to do, then this would be the only way to do that at this point, I would think, unless there's some special circumstances with this potentially being the final liberation rite, and maybe for that reason anyone is eligible, but I would kind of doubt that because we haven't seen anything to suggest that might be the case, so that's pretty much pure speculation. But is that reason enough? Do we see ourselves trying to free Tizo? Because if not, then we can rank up Tay, and Tay gets an extra skill. Could be very useful for this upcoming rite. Do it for Sir Gilman. Similarly, he would rank up, and that would potentially give him a very useful skill. So it comes down to how much do we think Tizo would help our plan should he be liberated? So, let's take a closer look at his bio. Because one thing that, let's see, does it say here? One thing that seems particularly notable to me is that we have learned that Tizo is a direct descendant of Aoub the Swallow, I believe is his name, the Imp Scribe. And although imps are not really very common in the Commonwealth, that might be reason enough for him to have a lot of influence should he be liberated. Last time we tried to liberate Sir Gilman and failed. The thought there being that he's a worm, and the worms supposedly have a large army and are not necessarily directly aligned with the Commonwealth at the moment, or I may need to brush up on my history a little bit there, but getting potentially Sir Gilman to be able to bring all of the worms onto our side for our plan, that seems like that could be a really big deal. So that's why I tried to liberate him last time around, whereas Tay, I mean, I really don't see much in terms of how she would be able to influence things on the other side. She doesn't seem to know very many people at all, let alone people who have a high stature in Commonwealth society that might help influence people and make our plan more likely to succeed. And Ruki, I know he's been here for a long time with us, but it's kind of a similar story for him in that, yes, he's a traitor with a D, not a T, but that doesn't seem like that's all that meaningful. I mean, sure, there may be some economic benefits, I suppose, to having him help us out, but that just doesn't seem like nearly as much as having an entire nation to help you out, which might be the case if we were to free Sir Gilman, or with Tizo, if his ties to the scribes might be able to influence people more and make them feel like this is the real deal, that they ought to trust us. So I do think it's going to be one of these two. Do I necessarily prefer Tizo over Sir Gilman, though? That I'm not sure about. I mean, I think, because I'm not sure, I know, as I was just saying, Tizo has a direct bloodline, supposedly, to the scribes, but I'm not sure how people in the Commonwealth would receive an imp. I know he's built up a positive reputation with our group, and we respect him. I'm just not sure if common folk in the Commonwealth would have that same view, whereas I feel like it would be easier for them to band alongside a worm when that seems like it's much more of an established group on the other side. I think we do stick with Sir Gilman, in which case that means we do not choose to tutor Tizo. So we could choose to tutor Tay, assuming that she will be someone that we choose to participate in this upcoming rite. In which case, we could give her the ability to move toward the orb when she salutes. That doesn't seem amazing. More likely that we would use this. Get rid of the brief charge-up time for her jump and sprint. I mean, that would be very useful, for sure. She is fast. She's just a little frustrating to use because she has a little delay between when you start sprinting and when she actually kicks it into high gear. And then Sir Gilman, if we were to take his final rank, after banishing an adversary, he deals additional damage. That would be one option. Saluting adversaries, he freezes everyone. I'm not a huge fan of that. Can instantly use his slash again. Wider area for his banishment. Huge fan of these. So we just don't banish with him very often. I find it really difficult to banish with Sir Gilman. Somewhat because he has a really small aura, which I know I've been talking about how that doesn't seem like a huge deal to me, generally speaking, but also largely in part because of the way in which his attack works, in that he darts backward rather than forward. And that generally seems very difficult to pull that off. So I think for that reason, I would prefer tutoring Tay to get this final skill here. And that means we will still seek to liberate Sir Gilman. With the hope being, of course, that that makes our plan the most likely to succeed, and then, if that's true, maybe everyone can be free. That would, of course, be ideal. Alright, so we mentor a companion. We are going to mentor Tay.
You would teach me more about the rites?
You and Tay go over what you know, the celestial landmarks you have been to, and how their properties impact the Nightwings in the rites. You can tell she knows many of them well by now. Just a tiny little boost that she needed to get up to that final rank.
Blessed are the scribes, whose eternal wisdom shines upon us through the stars and illuminates the path to our salvation.
Wait, what did I just say? What? That was strange, but I feel so invigorated now. Yeah, that was a little out of character. Seemed actually somewhat of a logical thing that she said, and not all over the place. But anyways, we're gonna take that one.
These landmarks underneath the stars? I sometimes wonder, are they fallen from the stars themselves?
Sort of. They are remnants of the Titans, and the Titans do seem to be closely affiliated with the stars. But anyways, let's get moving. And yes, so we only have one of these rounds before we make our way to the Scribe's Gate, so not as much of the opportunity to buff up our team, make ourselves stronger before the final, or at least I assume, final liberation rite. Again, you stand before the Scribe's Gate. Deep guardian, guards you all above an archway carved from stone. The exiles of the Nightwings. You must know by now that once the stars no longer shine, the rites shall cease. For now, step forth. Except for you. Just stay right there. Greetings, Celeste. The Nightwings are prepared. And as for me, you shall not blaspheme. Blaspheme? I'm not used to that word being a verb. Under the gates again. Do we understand each other, Greek? I, Celeste. I apologize for my behavior before. I shall adhere more strictly to my duties. Not entirely sure why. Is it just because he's been so closely affiliated with the Nightwings, and we've been accused of having been traitors, so by extension, he's been performing blasphemous behavior? Be sure of it. Now, each of you,
Come forth. Please, state your names and what it is that you seek whilst crossing the Scribe's Gate. One by one, your companions cross the gate until it is your time to do so. Follow them in turn. The Gate Guardian regards you all and waves you through toward the summit. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth, Lori. I am free to accompany you then? To accompany them, Celeste? Or shall I remain here? She looks at him for a while. You are free to accompany them, Tariq. As you will, Celeste. Until we meet upon the summit, then.
Okay. Onward we go. Brace ourselves for what may be our final challenge. We shall see. Okay, we don't have anyone to talk to, besides good old Falcon Ron, of course, so let's pay him a visit. Oh, it's you guys. Well, come on in, I guess. Got here right on time, because I was just thinking, maybe I would close a little early here, you know? Business has been real good and everything. It's been a little slow in spots. A little slow is all. So, I was thinking, maybe I should do a sale? What do you say to that? I would love a sale, because we are probably still pretty broke at the moment. Falcon Ron wishes to know your thoughts about a potential sale. You don't need it, man. It is important from an economic standpoint. Do not undercut the value of well-crafted goods, Falcon Ron. You should not conduct a sale. However, a good, well-promoted sale might be just the thing to shake things up at the slug market, and I'm probably not going to be able to afford anything unless you do put stuff on sale, so you should go for it. You suggest to Falcon Ron that a sale might be a good idea to liven things up a bit. I hope this isn't one of those reverse psychology situations here. Well, I guess maybe that's a way to look at things, and so, then I am gonna think about it, stew on it a while, but, no promises, okay? So, you buying something here, or what? Oh, you big tease? You're not gonna do it yet anyway? Okay, this is new. Bear can banish adversaries by flinging the orb into them. Wow. I mean, that just opens up a whole range of possibilities. Flinging orbs directly at people and using that as potentially your primary source of banishing people. But, I mean, there's no way we can afford that. Just no way. Alright, we can sell this. Gives us 20, but we are still shy of being able to afford much of anything. Unless we were talking last time about potentially selling this. It was good to us at the beginning of the game, but I think we have since found talismans that have surpassed it. That would get us to 45. Let me just make sure that there are meaningful things that we might buy at that price. I think, most likely, it would be something like this. Give us +4 quickness boost. At least for one character. Yeah. I'm assuming this only applies to one character. So we put it in the talisman slot. Okay. Otherwise, alright, see we have some huge bunches of Stardust, but I think we have upgraded, for the most part, all the talismans that we plan to use. I mean, unless, of course, we do cave and opt to sell the legendary talismans that we've gotten for the members that have since earned their freedom, but I still can't really bring myself to do that. So I'm gonna hold off on doing that. Just sell this. We'll be at 45, and we'll pick up one of these. Give ourselves the ability to get a solid +4 quickness bonus. As to who exactly I plan to use that on, I mean, you could make a case for several people, because you could argue that it might be best to put it on someone who's already very speedy, like Sir Gilman, like Rookie, and make them even faster still. Or, assuming that Tay is going to be our last participant, she would be the slowest of that group, but to give her 4 additional quickness would suddenly Springer, maybe not quite into the same speed category, but close. Is there any way we can still manage to scrounge up enough for one more? I mean, if we were to sell all these Stardust, 2, 4, 6, 8, gets up to 20, 25. How much do these cost? 36. It's not far. If we wanted to cave on one talisman, we could cave on Volfreds. Nah, we shouldn't do that. Gilman's, are there any other things I'm forgetting about? I think we bought this a while back. If we were to sell it back, then we would be able to purchase a lot, quite frankly. Be able to get a permanent quickness bonus. Or another temporary one. So, am I feeling like that's a possibility? Oh wait, hold on. This was 20, 25. Oh yeah, okay. Let's just make sure we did already add that up. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna use this. At least for this upcoming rite. I know it's really good, but I don't think we're gonna use it now. Which leads me to believe that we might be able to sell this and just go for the short-term benefit. So let's do it. Thanks, Falcon Rod. Okay, so then we go for... Just make sure that our math adds up here. We get this... Oh dear, the mental maths. Could we still afford getting the temporary one? I don't think we could. This is admittedly with quick mental math that is maybe not the strongest on a whim here. Because we would have, what, 36? I think this is now enough. We could potentially sell our Stardust, but I don't think we'll need to. Let's do this. We'll have 36 remaining, which would give us enough for that. Yeah. Okay. That is the goal. Let me just make sure we're getting the right one. +1 quickness. I think that's what I want. And similarly, this. Okay. So now we have the ability to give 2 people +4 quickness, assuming that this is person specific, and then a permanent +1 quickness, which, you know, may not be a huge difference if this is our last rite, but it's something else to throw in there too, so there we go. Page revealed downside dining? What? See you guys again sometime soon, maybe, okay? Because, I gotta say, you are my favorite customers I had all week. Okay, so, let's go into the Black Wagon, and I guess we'll read these last few pages. See what the deal is on downside dining before we head into our potentially final rite. In the words of Jomir Manymane, the Alpha Chief, how to sustain oneself with food and drink in such a place as this. The less said of it, better. Do not complain, observe. Above all, keep moving. Sources of sustenance avail themselves to those with keener sense. In warmer climates, search the ground at break of day for subterraneans. Colder places, dig for them. Give them purpose. Drinking pools are rare, but moisture in abundance outside the sandfolds. Some is poisonous. Take only what you need. The downside limits any opportunity for excess, but it provides enough amenities to meet the needs of life. One who withstands it cannot help but feel a sense of gratitude. I thought there was one other page too, possibly of a similar nature. Downside, ooh, diseases. The ailments in the downside often give no warning when they strike. Those who keep moving and make no attempt to settle, they reduce their risks. The afflictions come in multiple varieties. In the bog of flagging hands, pallor tends to sink into the skin, then into the mind. The nauseating sea of solace north of there is difficult for some to tolerate. Very hot or very cold environs bring their own specific side effects. My coat is not as lustrous now. My fangs are long. Like all aspects of the downside, all these ailments shall share a purpose. Test your body, mind, and spirit. They only appear. Accept them. Pass them. Move on. Okay, that's that. What I wanted to do, make sure that we still have the opportunity before the rite actually starts to throw some of these things on people. So, let's see. On the assumption that we will be using Sir Gilman, Tay, and Ruki, how best to distribute these quickness bonuses? So, like I was saying before, Sir Gilman is already far and away the fastest at 27. Tay is the slowest at 18, Ruki middle ground with 20. However, Ruki does have this ability here that allows him to accelerate faster and to a higher top speed. So, Ruki is maybe a little closer to Sir Gilman than he is to Tay. So the question is, do you further increase your strength, or do you instead focus on covering your weakness? And I think what we do here is I would like to get Tay at least to be one of those people +4. Okay, she's up to 22. I mean, we might even be able to put multiple of these on Tay and suddenly make her almost as speedy as Sir Gilman. Very, very close, which is a little tempting, to be honest. Or Ruki, make him a similar level of speedy. And this is just one quickness. It is permanent, but as I was saying before, I'm not sure that that is all that notable of a difference. I think we are better suited to opt for these two people. Make them quicker than usual. I'm gonna go here. Yes. Make Ruki quicker. And I think on the last one, I'm gonna give it to Tay. So she's still the slowest, but she is considerably quicker than she was before. Ruki is definitely quicker than before and does still have this additional speed boost that might actually make him faster than Sir Gilman at a sprint now. Because there's just a 3 difference. I don't know exactly how much of a difference this makes, but probably pretty close. And then of course, we'll have other talismans to put on too, which might further increase those stats, but we've been tending more toward these things that can give us life back as of late, so that might be the route we choose instead of boosting our quickness further through talismans. But anyway, enough talk, enough planning. Time to start. Have to commence the liberation rite here at the summit of Mount Elodial. One among you may finally go free if you prevail. And I think, as we were saying before, the plan is to do it with Sir Gilman. That was the plan last time, of course. It didn't work out so well, but the hope is we have made ourselves such that we are quicker than before. Tay has leveled up since then, and maybe we are in fact going against the fate after all. Our opponents won't be quite as good as the ones we faced last time, but I still suspect Orlek may be primed to pop in for a little surprise visit. Once more, the time has come for the liberation rite, where one among you can go free if you prevail. Freedom is likewise at stake for your adversaries, fate. Or the true Nightwings, we'll see. As your companions gather under the fall, awaiting the commencements of this vital rite, the lone minstrel finds you and regards you in his calm fashion. The night is falling. These moments, prior to each commencement, I must admit, they give me pause, knowing so much is at stake during the trial that is to come. Tell me something, would you read it? To ease the waiting for us both. I've traveled far and wide, even beyond these lands. However, Commonwealth, I know only through word and song. I sometimes think on what life would be like out there. If you were not ensnared within this place and free to roam your country, what would you have done with all your days and years rather than striving here under the stars? What would you have done with yourself in the Commonwealth? That's it's a question that no one has really asked us anything like this before, I don't think. Maybe you would have tended the land. The simple life on the farm may have been your calling. You miss the earth where you're from. Maybe you would have sailed across the seas, water past the borders of the Commonwealth. Therein lies a freedom you would have sought. Maybe you would have retired to the outskirts. You might have gone where it is quieter and peaceful and enjoyed the stillness for a while. Or maybe you would have fought for freedom. You yet feel an obligation to correct the Commonwealth for a better course. I mean, after all we've been through, this has been the sole purpose, or at least the primary purpose for everything that we've been doing as of late, right? So I feel like if we were to take anything else, that would be pretty dishonest. We have to choose this, right? Perhaps it was inevitable you were to be cast into exile, and not abide the state of things within the Commonwealth. There is so much needing to be changed there. It seems, then, that you would face a greater challenge there than even here. Your Commonwealth sounds to be a country rather set upon its ways. Of course, that is the nature and ambition of the plan of which you are a part. May your actions here help bring about the future desired on the other side. Sitting at 65% at the moment. It's still not terribly high. Just then, the lone minstrel looks forth, and you see that it is time. Stars above, though faint, begin to burn. Here we go. Will it be the fate? Will it be the true Nightwings? Well, I'll tell you this much. I'm not risking any of this stuff this time around. Making sure we don't have anything activated. No. Because I suspect we are in for a surprise or two, especially given what happened last time, where we were not ready to adapt partway through our previous liberation rite. Just have to do everything we can to succeed here. The burden of the question of who most deserves their freedom is about to weigh upon you once again.
The stars that yet remain aflame align once more over the sacred fall of Solium. 'Twas here that the 8 scribes ordained the glorious tradition in which you now participate. The
Does show the fate there.
which you and that instigator Ulfred seek to undermine. 'Tis my sincerest hope your adversaries in this liberation rite achieve instead what they desire.
See?
May the fates soon quench those flames of yours. Let us get on with the proceedings then.
Thanks for your confidence in us.
The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. I concur. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. Then, anointed, one of the fate, come forth now and declare yourself, and pay any respects you have unto your adversaries, the Nightwings.
The bent old cur, Dalbert, steps forward and struggles for a moment with his mask. Greetings, good heralds. I am called Dalbert Oldheart. It is the greatest honor of my years to stand upon this sacred site upon which the 8 scribes first anointed these glorious proceedings. Nightwings, we are honored to be in your presence once more. Father, they are our adversaries, not our hosts. We need not be so gentle with them. They shall do their utmost to keep you from your freedom.
Dalbert, your son speaks out of turn. Control him.
My sincerest apologies for his unnecessary outburst. Almer, please. We have worked toward this opportunity. We must make the most of it.
It puts its mask back on. My son and I stand ready to begin.
Hey, it does appear as though we are in fact going against the fate. Knock on wood here, but I don't know. There's gotta be something. Orlek has to have his final say in some way, shape, or form, right? Whether it actually happens in this rite or something soon afterward, I don't know, but I think this is just a little too straightforward.
Nightwings, on whose behalf shall you conduct this liberation rite? Choose quickly. May you heed your heart in making your choice, reader. I trust you are prepared to play the hymns with me, Tariq. Always, Celeste.
Okay.
Whom do you endeavor to return?
So, let's take a quick look at the Fate, just to remind ourselves as to what they're all about. So we have Dalbert, who's their leader. He's fully enlightened. While the bear's Pyre has less life than the adversaries, he deals a lot of bonus damage. So although it says 15 here, he has the potential to deal more like 21. Potentially almost every time. We'll see. He has the ability to jump a second time. He accelerates more quickly than usual, so that 17 that you see here is a little misleading, much like it was with Ruki, but fortunately, we sped up Ruki and much of our allies, so maybe that we're a little faster than normal, and are able to, take care of him a little more easily for that reason. After he's banished by an adversary, Dalbert has a 50% chance to return in only 1 second. Wow. Okay, so that is tricky. That's potentially still the most impactful skill that he has here, because our strategy is typically to banish and then zoom. So we have to bear in mind, if we banish him, he has the possibility of coming back almost instantaneously. And then he can jump a second or third time while airborne. How does that compare to this? This says second. I guess this is the third. On top of that, this doesn't add an additional one on top of the third listed here, so we can't do 4, I don't think. Okay, but outside of that, he has a very small aura. Like I said, 15 damage, but potential to do more with his talisman. That quickness number is a little misleading. He does come back quickly from banishment, even without that chance of the 1 second return. Then there's his son, Almer, who is not that fast, although his charge-up time between jumps and sprints is virtually eliminated, like we just picked up with Tay. He also has the ability to deal more damage when he's behind, so that's good to bear in mind. That's 20 damage plus 6, so 26 is a lot. So we need to be careful there. They can score very quickly, or at least deal damage very quickly. And he can cast his aura very quickly, flings the orb faster than usual, and while grasping the orb, he sprints and jumps without using stamina, so he has infinite stamina when he has the orb. That is dangerous. Then finally, we have an imp. We have not gone against imps very often. This person is not fully enlightened, so they only have 3 skills. They're faster than usual while zipping and fluttering. They can banish in a wider area, so they have a large banishment zone, in addition to their already pretty large presence. And then they return much faster than usual when they implode. So it seems like, we were to try to paint the Fate with a broad brush stroke, we could say, and they have the same talisman as well. I would say that they come back quickly from banishment, generally speaking. So we have both the Imp and Dalbert, who both have that ability, and they deal a lot of damage with each time they make it to the Pyre. Even though they aren't slow. They may not be the fastest people we've gone up against, but they aren't slow. So that is a bit of a dangerous combination there, because most of the time, people that score the most points are slow. That's not really the case with them. So, Anyways, doesn't really change our strategy here. We are still going to go with Gilman as the person we're trying to free, but let's make sure we have all of our talismans available to us here. Not forgetting about anything. So, with Gilman, he's the one we're trying to set free. Let's see as to what the best talisman for him is. We can give him one, gives him points, or rather, heals our Pyre when he scores. This is a flat 10, rather than 50% of the damage he deals, which is significant because we compare to... Ruki actually deals the least right now, assuming we go with these three, and Tay will deal the most. So Tay ought to have this. Gilman or Ruki ought to have this, and then the last person would have either their unique talisman or one of these all-rounder talismans. Not this one. I think, who do we anticipate will score more? So Sir Gilman is going to be the first one we select, so he's going to be in the middle, going to be the one that we start off with more often than not, so I think he's going to be the one we are pursuing the scores with most aggressively. So I think we want to make sure that he has this. So I'm going to do that.
Sir Gilman.
A second chance bestowed upon this knight. Hope it fares better than the first time. Okay, so next I'm gonna go with Tay. Here I'm going to give her the one that gets back 50% of our Pyre's life, because again, the Fate do have the ability to score in pretty big chunks, so for that reason I think it is significant for us to be able to heal ourselves. Might have even been something that could have saved us, well, maybe not in the last Liberation Rite, where we just got completely stomped as soon as our opponents changed their strategy, but should still help us, no less.
Oh, then maybe this time?
And then finally, Ruki. And for him, we could use his legendary talisman, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I think I would rather make him speedier. I know we don't get the infinite stamina bonus from having someone else using the other of the pair, but I think you consider that we already gave him a quickness bonus already. He's going to be crazy speedy, and giving him 2 more, in addition to a little bit of presence, a little bit of hope, will go a long way. So let's do it.
Toes crossed this time.
It is done.
We give thanks to have this opportunity to face you, O Nightwings. Now, let us strive to our fullest capability, with honor and with grace. Save your strength for the right, Father, and for the voyage home. Let this be our final battle against them. Alright, here goes nothing. Ooh, I tried to hop. I was too slow. Alright, that was a bad move on that part. There we go. Gotcha. Like to pass. Thank you. Go. Score. Nice.
You can do this, Almer. I believe in you, and so do the Scrub.
Tay. That's our opponent you're talking about here. Wait. What? What is this? What are you talking about? This is the Liberation Rite. What are you doing?
Tay pulls at her mask. I think you are my friend, Almer, and so I'm hoping for the best for you and for your father. He believes in you, and so do I.
Tay.
But we have to do our very best as well, and I know we cannot all prevail. Only the Fate or the Nightwings, but not both. Not both.
Almer looks on in stunned silence. The outburst seems to have disarmed everyone. So it might mean we have the opportunity to jump in quickly.
We all have to do our very best, and then the scribes, they are going to watch over us and make everything okay. You'll see, Almer. You'll see.
She puts her mask back on as the Liberation Rite continues. Whether her words flustered your adversaries or emboldened them, cannot tell. Ooh, maybe drop it. And I tried to zoom past that. Ooh, we just barely made it. Nice, nice. Okay. Sir Gilman again. Good, good. Okay, now I think things are about to get tricky as they are, I assume, going to adjust their strategy. Hear us, O noble Jomir, for we beseech you. Surely we cannot prevail without your aid. If ever you have heard my prayers, I beg of you, please smile upon us now. Jomir, don't do it. Don't do it. That's one of the scribes. Whether from his prayers to the scribes or simply from Dalbert's resolve, something comes over your fellow exiles here. They are banished now. They shall not soon return. Okay, so banished for much longer. I mean, we gotta be careful, but I don't think we change our strategy too much here. Drop. Saw that coming. Oh, I thought that got you. Oh, switch! Gotcha. Whoa! That was a humongous aura. Should have seen that coming. Don't you dare jump like that. Uh-oh. Remember, we have the especially long banishment time. So the more we can stall, the better. Oh, I ran straight into that. No! Ah! He does deal more damage, remember that. And we have to be careful here. Maybe drop it again. And you got me. Ah! Keep on jumping straight into that. No! Man! This is not good performance right now. Ooh, we did make it. Did make it. And I think we did get some life back from that, so that is key as well. Okay, want some of my stamina back. Ooh, just missed! Waiting for you. Do something like that. Nope, no! Ugh. I agree. 2 more for them. I think 1 more for us. Is that it? No, 1 more. Ooh, we might have gotten some life back. I think we did. No! I tried to cut the corner too much. No, I tried to jump, but I was too slow. Nope, nope, nope. Not gonna happen, buddy. There we go! We got it. Ooh. We did it.
The night wings proved their worth.
Okay.
Rather convincingly, I must admit.
Yeah, I don't know how much of an effect getting that healing effect back on our Pyre made, but we did it.
And thus, the scribes have chosen the exile appointed by the Night Wings shall be free, absolved of all misdeeds, return to glory in the Commonwealth. His adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful sentences.
Alas, my son. Once more, it seems I have failed you. Father! Wait! What could his freedom to us anyway? If we would be apart. Sir Gilman stares at nothing in particular, since he is still taking in what has transpired and what it means for him. So then, this night, he is to be free? He is to be free? Nay, what that would mean. Why, that would mean his honor is restored. One cannot go back unto the Commonwealth by any other means. This knight's exile was self-wrought, his disgrace profound, that he has been atoned under the eye of the Underking and those of all his noble comrades. He begins to grow very emotional. Then, this knight loves you all! He loves you all! That you would strive for him, let him join your noble quest. This knight does not feel as though he is deserving of this outcome, yet the result appears inarguable. Even now, this knight is drawn into the Shimmer Pool. Our time grows brief. Therefore, know this, beloved friends. This knight shall ever strive on your behalf, there in the Commonwealth. Though his honor may have been restored, his true journey only now begins. And so, good friends of the Night Wings, this night must now bid you farewell. However, the bonds we form together shan't be broken by mere distance, nay. Strive on, good friends, strive on. You can still hear Sir Gilman as he vanishes into the Shimmer Pool. If this lowly knight could have achieved such glory, surely can you all. For now, farewell, farewell! Sir Gilman earned back his freedom. May he return in glory.
Godspeed, Sir Gilman. Perhaps the scribes are watching even now. Watching as their glorious tradition draws to a close.
That be the end? Alright. No updates there?
Now take your execrable companions someplace else.
What is this? Father, wait! Calm yourself, my son. The liberation rite is ended. But no! How can you be so calm, even now, after what happened? Did you strive this night with all your heart, Almer? Yes! But it wasn't enough. It was not enough. No, my son. It was enough. It was more than enough. Father. You do not need a pair of wings. You return to the wagon after having prevailed against the fate in the liberation rite. I had a good feeling this would happen. You were also kind of rooting for our adversaries there. Feels quieter already, huh? You succeeded in liberating Sir Gilman, who returned to the Commonwealth glory. Our plan approaches a key turning point. Let us ensure it soon comes to fruition, not only for ourselves here, but for our companions and our loved ones in the Commonwealth. Alright, so we were, looking at, I wish I remembered what the number was before we started this right. I think it was 65? Something like that? Let's see what it is now. 71. Okay, we are above 70, which is, certainly where we would have hoped to have gotten, but, maybe it's just a landmark that I'm making in my head here, but it seems like if we could get to or above 75, I would feel a lot better, but I'm not sure what, if anything, we can still do at this point to make that happen. But we have little time now for reflection into this. Look yonder, reader. The stars demand we go already. Let us help them usher in the end of all of this.
Oh. Hey, sounds like there will, in fact, be one more round of rites?
You turn your attention to the glimmer of the stars. Their current rate of disappearance suggests another liberation rite shall be coming very soon.
Yeah, so that would suggest there is still chance for one more liberation rite, but probably only one, maybe two typical rites in between.
The few remaining stars still shine for you.
Let's find our way among them. Rogue Star,
Fog Star, and the Vernal Star.
Okay. Let's take a look. We can go against Sir Deluge and the Pyre Hearts, but we, after having freed Sir Gilman, I'm not so sure that's particularly notable at this stage. We can go against Manly and the Chastity once again at Calamir the Rogue Star. I don't know. On one hand, I feel like because he is of the normal adversaries, the group, or the individual, who is most capable, seemingly, of setting back our plan, of thwarting it, that maybe we ought to avoid him? And the last one, not these guys. Not the dissidents. So here's the thing, is of all of these guys remaining, I'm most confident in our ability to overcome the Chastity. Because comparatively, they're much slower than the Pyre Hearts, who are a bunch of speedy worms, and the Dissidents, who are a bunch of speedy curs. These guys have defeated us at least once, and these guys, we've beaten twice. We haven't lost to them, but if I remember correctly, it's been very close on those two occasions. Whereas this, I think, on both occasions, he had relatively comfortable victories, maybe not the most recent one in which we faced him in this arena, the one that is the most chaotic. But yeah, I mean, the other ones, we don't have any other conflicts, I think, to resolve with these people, because we already have with Rookie for the Dissidents and with Sir Gilman for the Pyre Hearts. So I think we do go for the Rogue Star going against the Chastity here, even if that means putting ourselves up against Manly and possibly giving him the opportunity to do something to build more obstacles in the way of our plan, but let's give it a shot.
Now the stars bid you to return to the Isle of Calamir. Shall stand against the Chastity once again. Your adversary, H. Manly Tinderstock, likely knows the cycle of the rites is drawing to a close. His last remaining chance to earn the favor of the scribes and then regain his freedom likely hinges on the outcome of this next rite.
So Manly is one of, and the Chastity by extension, one of the few groups remaining that we have not yet faced in a liberation rite. Pyre Arts we haven't either, but that probably means, I didn't look at Volfred's planner for this purpose, but I would think our next liberation rite, we are, at least at the moment, set up to go against one of those two. Otherwise it's the Accusers, I think, might be the only ones remaining, and I mean, what are the chances they're gonna make it through? Otherwise, I hold on to the thought, the theory, that Orlek is still going to have his day.
The cycle of the rites is soon to end. The exiles of the downside striving to be free. Your adversaries, companions, even you yourself, are running out of time.
Okay, and with that, we have successfully completed a liberation rite. May have taken us 2 chances, but we did finally free Sir Gilman. And it looks like, although I had thought that that might have been our last liberation rite, this last go-round must be our last shot. So, it's going to be tough. But we do have just a little bit more time to see if we can bring this plan to fruition. But that's going to wrap things up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.